Thanks for tuning in for another episode of Will Work for Patients, a free advice podcast dedicated to help chiropractors get on purpose and grow their practices. Get ready to tune in and turn up the volume of your practice marketing. And now, turning up the volume on his mic, big-time chiropractic advocate and your host, here is Frank Sardella.
Greetings, everybody, from downtown Clearwater in beautiful sunny Florida here. I am this week camped out at the offices of Sunshine Vitamins. Episode 9, you met the CEO of Sunshine Vitamin Products, Desiree Lotz. Instant CalMag C, the product. I'm here in her office this week and probably for a couple of weeks after that. So you're going to hear a few episodes from on location here. And I'm so happy to be here. Right now, especially with the long winter we had. I know I keep talking about it, but the winter from New York was brutal, and here I am in sunny Florida. Shorts, t-shirt, beautiful day. Thank you, Michelle, for that stellar introduction. I'm truly grateful to you. How lucky am I to have you as our announcer? Did anyone know that Michelle Farrell is a voiceover artist? You must know that. You must have assumed that. You've seen her on the podcast. But that's right. She's a hired gun, and she can do voiceovers for you, too. If anyone would like to ever use her beautiful voice for any soundtrack, please do let me know through the show. You know how to get in touch with me, frank.screenings@live.com. Write me and we'll get you hooked up. But I do this plug purely out of my admiration for her. Absolutely, unsolicited, but we barely deserve you here, so thank you. And you know what? I have admiration for you, too. Me, I'm Frank Sardella, and I'm so happy to be with you here again today in our podcast show. This show is free for you to not only give you marketing help in your practice, but to keep you on purpose, to keep you pumped up, and to keep you going. And that's my commitment in this grassroots effort to make a chiropractic world. So welcome. Hello, diehards. Hello, newcomers. I've been talking to more of you newbies, more and more of you, and I am just absolutely thrilled that you're here. Speaking of here and speaking of happenings on the show, we're absolutely on fire over here, but the question of the day is, how am I ever, in tarnation, going to top that last one? Episode 11, Kathy Mills-Chang, just over the top. Wasn't that just magical? We've been thanking her up and down, but did you tune in? I got to tell you, if you did, that one definitely deserves replays if you haven't already, and if you haven't listened to it, are you insane? You have to listen to it. You absolutely have to. Kathy Mills-Chang, thank you so much for being here. Let me quickly thank all of you for sharing us on social media and Facebook and Google Plus and tweeting about us and Instagram. The Instagram photo campaign is absolutely rocking. I'm having so much fun with it. We're getting everybody and their brother, even people outside the chiropractic industry are getting into the game. You go up on our Instagram site. I believe it's instagram.com/willworkforpatients. You can also get the link on willworkforpatients.com. But please, send us in your pictures. Get those cardboard signs going. Look on Instagram for the pattern and try to top what's up there. We'd love to have you. It's so much fun, so get in the game if you're not. Now, I want to tell you, I know it's probably a shocker to you, but we do have quite an episode planned for you here today. Quite an episode, you know. Now, maybe this tops Kathy Mills-Chang, which I absolutely doubt, and maybe it doesn't, but today's episode would be like the apple to the orange of the Kathy Mills-Chang episode, okay? We're talking about two totally and completely different subjects, but I have to tell you, today's topic was really the underlying theme throughout the Kathy Mills-Chang episode, episode 11, okay? Because Kathy and I have something in common that is, let's say, really like sort of drives what we do, okay? And that's what I'm going to talk to you about. So today, with any luck, I'm going to inspire the heck out of you, okay? I'm going to make you want to market your practice every minute of the day. And I'm going to make you want to live the chiropractic dream that you once had, okay? And also, let's get some of that fire back you had when you applied to your alma mater, yeah? What would you say if we could do that, huh? Would that be good? All right, so today's episode is entitled No Passion, No Patience. How do you like that one? You knew I would come up with another title that was going to draw you in. I am in love with that title. I deliberated for a few minutes and it just popped into my head, and there it was. No passion, no patience. And that is the perfect topic for today's episode, because today's episode is about something that underlies all your marketing and even the efforts of those who work for you. Yes, today's episode, you guessed it, it's all about you, okay? So let's go over sort of what we're going to cover today, okay? So today we're going to cover something special. I'm going to talk to you about following your passion and also mixing your inherent passions and your talents and your interests into like your work, the work that you're doing there in your clinic, okay? Now, I alluded to this in an earlier episode, but today I'm going to cover it in much greater depth for you, okay? And I'm very excited about that. So sort of we're going to come through that as sort of the overall subject. And then as the points that we're going to cover, it would be like before you give a single adjustment, you definitely need to have passion. Okay, so that's like the basis. But then there's essential elements you're going to need before you can even think about embarking on any marketing campaign. Okay, and those essential elements have to do with this passion, and we want to talk about that. And I'm going to talk very extensively, okay? And just so you know, let me just input here that part of what I'm going to talk about today is my own journey into this, okay? Because I have just as much purpose as those of you who practice, okay? And any of you CAs or assistants or what have you that are listening, hopefully that you have the same. And if you haven't really experienced the benefits of chiropractic, you need to do that, or you need to go bury your nose in a success story book. But we'll talk about that more during the episode. But I want to get into some of my self-realization and some of the self-examination I've done to come to these conclusions and sort of share this with you, okay? And then you're going to learn that before you can market something, there has to be something there to market, and that's where this essence is coming from. There's something that has to be there, sort of an X quality, for you to be able to market it. Okay? You're going to learn today why two people can sell the exact same thing to the exact same people and get two completely different results, and how and why, let's say, failures in that process would happen. Okay? And equally why successes happen. So we want to look at both sides of that. And finally, you're going to find out the value of, let's say, public relations to you and your practice, or about you and your practice, like without any effort, how you could actually achieve it with very limited effort at all. And when I say effort, I use the term loosely. You're going to see what I mean. So we're going to get into that. So that's a big, meaty topic, and I'm going to make this a sort of quick episode because I know we've run long on these last few. This one's just me. We don't have a guest on the show today. So we're going to try to make this a shorter episode, but I want to make it really high, super high quality. I want you to get something out of it. So I told you what you're going to take away. So that looks like everything. Let's see. Did I forget anything? No, I don't think so. I'm just kidding. Of course we're going to do a top 10 list today, of course, okay? How could I forget that? I can't let you down. So let's just jump right in. Let's move on to the top 10 list, and then we're going to get into this very beefy topic here. Okay, so today's top 10 list is one I've cooked up especially for you. It's got a lot to do with sort of is based on passion, but this is going to be like, okay, your motivation once you have that passion to go out and do marketing and so on and so forth. I don't know. I'm trying to twist this into the subject matter today. Maybe it's not related at all, but I'm going to do the top 10 advantages you have over docs 20 years ago. Okay, because when I started, we definitely didn't have these advantages really by and large. Okay, so let's get into it. Number 10 is .com. Okay, websites. We don't appreciate the value of our websites. A website is a virtual storefront, but it's a storefront people don't have to drive by. It's a storefront that you could promote. It's a storefront that you can put on your business card and whatever, and people are sitting in front of computers nearly 24 hours a day. Okay, 16 hours a day. 8 hours at work, 8 hours at home. Okay, they're now on their smartphones, so it's probably more. They're staying up later at night. They're getting lesser sleep, and they're seeing websites. So here you have a storefront out there on this big international thing. So you have a .com. Number 9 is social media. Duh. Is this one that I really have to go over in detail? Social media is something we didn't have a long time ago. Social media was called word of mouth. It sort of reminds me of Peter Falk in The Princess Bride when he's reading the story to his grandson, right? When I was your age, television was called books, right? I love that line. So social media. The new word of mouth. Number 8, texting. Okay, cell phones, texting, all that. I got to tell you, 20 years ago, even cell phones weren't that popular. As a matter of fact, I had my first cell phone, I think, 20 years ago. It was really expensive, very bulky. It looked like a walkie-talkie. But texting and things like that, auto texts and whatever. I know a lot of offices that actually text reminders to their patients and stuff. So texting. Number 7, video. Video has, well, YouTube, folks. Come on, right? How many YouTube videos can you post of yourself talking? There's videos about everything, and people are so into video now. So that's an advantage. Number 6, blogs. When did we get so many authors on this planet? It wasn't until we invented the internet that everybody started thinking, hey, I got something to say and people might want to listen to me. So blogs are a major advantage you have over 20 years ago. A blog back then, I don't know what you'd call a blog. I don't think there was an equivalent back then 20 years ago. So number 5, here's a kind of special one, raised awareness. Have you noticed people's tolerance for drugs and medicine and all that other kind of stuff have dwindled considerably, and their awareness is coming up. You hear more about eating organic, eating healthy, this kind of thing. Alternative care is not really called alternative care anymore. It's more natural care. There's awareness. There's blogs being written about it, products being developed. So we're really at an advantage here. Again, over 20 years ago, raised awareness. Number 4, the organic revolution is part of that, okay? Because everybody's like, organic, organic. Is it organic? Is it not organic? Maybe I should eat more organic. Organic, saves you from cancer, blah, 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 right? So the organic revolution. Number 3, here's an interesting one, integrative care. Okay, and it was just about 20 years ago that the idea of integrative care was coming up. We saw toward the mid and late 90s, we saw some of these initial MDDCs that opened up. For those of you in the audience, that's a multidisciplinary practice work. You have chiropractic supervised by an MD, and you have physical therapy and maybe acupuncture and massage all under one roof. There were maybe 1 or 2 consultants that led a lot of docs down the primrose path to their detriment. But it developed over 20 years very nicely, and I happen to know some very, very large practices. I used to work for one that became a very successful MDDC, and you can go into their practice and at any moment of the day. I counted, actually. They're working on an average of 25 patients at any minute of any hour during their practice hours. So that's come a long way, integrative care. Number 2, more acceptance than ever, especially by medical doctors, folks. You are accepted, okay? We do a whole MD referral coaching program where we coach you on how to get the MDs in your area to refer to you. And Juliana, our MD referrals coach, actually, she gave a lot of interesting data to me when we first brought her on board and she brought her program to us. About the acceptance, and she found some very interesting things, including the fact that she found some very, very good qualities in the medical doctors, in the majority of the medical doctors that she met, and they're actually extremely receptive to your profession. So that's good. And the number 1 advantage you have over docs 20 years ago is, and I sort of spoiled this a little bit ago, but I'm going to say it again, you're no longer the alternative. Okay, and that, even though I sort of alluded to it in an earlier step, I really want to emphasize it here because really, like, pat yourself on the back, and that's going to be your first purpose-boosting element to lead you into this whole thing. Okay, so maybe the top 10 list wasn't a big purpose booster, but this number 1 answer I want you to take to heart. You are no longer the alternative. Okay, let's jump in here. So, the first thing we want to talk about here is passion. Why did I want to talk to you about passion today? Okay, I've been doing a lot of expanding with our coaching, and we've been getting into more areas. We've been covering more territory. We've been doing more research than ever. We've been talking to people. We've been doing just everything we can to just collect more information and find more knowledge out about really what makes people tick and what works, what doesn't work, how we can do things better. But it's all in the name of our passion. I keep mentioning grassroots with this podcast, and you guys know, if you've been listening, you know what I'm trying to do here. I'm not only doing this for you to help you with marketing, but underlying all that is a passion that I have to just help people. And what I want to do with this podcast is just reach everyone worldwide. All the people that I'm probably never going to coach, I want them to listen in, and I want them to get something out of this, and I want to be part of their expansion, right? And that comes from a passion. And that's what I really want to get down to brass tacks with today, with you, to talk about. I want you to do some self-examination because that's what I've done recently, and I'm here to share that with you, okay? Now, very interestingly, yes, chiropractic is a passion and a purpose for me, but my passion underneath it all is art, communication, and those things, okay? I'm a musician, I'm a songwriter, I'm a performer, I'm a public speaker, I'm a ghostwriter, I'm an author. I'm all of these things that I'm passionate about. And I did some self-examination over this past weekend, and it was actually very, very enlightening to sort of sit down and have this little bit of self-discovery. And I discovered many, many things. And I've also discovered that there are a lot of things that can just drive you off of your purpose. And so I wanted to cover that today. So, I said when I was sort of setting you up for this and sort of giving you a little summary of what we're going to talk about, I said before you give a single adjustment, you need to have that passion. Okay, so the first thing that I want you to really look at and maybe take from this is that you have to put that in check. You have to take a look and say, why the heck am I doing this? Okay, especially those of you who are really stressed out right now or really just totally like embroiled in all the problems of your practice or administrative things or debts or bills or fines or whatever's going on in your life, even in your marriage, okay, all that kind of stuff. Why don't you just take a brief look and say, why am I doing this? Okay? And that's what you have to do. You have to step back, okay? And I would say do that before any of the stuff we went over in the previous episodes, okay? Do that first. Because all this marketing business isn't worth a dime unless you have that passion first, and that's really what I discovered. And once I've started pursuing my passion, that's when everything changed. And here's the thing. This podcast is a prime example. This podcast combines a lot of my talents and a lot of the things that I'm really super able to do that people can get benefit from. And my life has been enriched from there forward, okay? And things have been fantastic. And you can do the same, okay? I'm not telling you to go out and do a podcast, but I'm telling you can get back into your passion, okay? And get back to those roots, those reasons why you decided to do this in the first place. Come on, guys, I know we didn't do this for money. None of us are getting paid that much, right? There's not that much in chiropractic. So that's before you give this single adjustment. And then, so what are the essential elements you need before you can even think about a marketing campaign? You need passion, you need purpose, you need drive, okay? Now, I sort of said something interesting before. I said before you can market something, there has to be something there to market. Okay, and that's where this passion sort of goes into. So like as sort of an exercise, what you can do, and I actually did this. I actually sort of wrote down exactly what it was I was trying to accomplish, and the thing that I'm most passionate about, and the thing that I really want to do most in life, and the things that only make me happy. Those are the only things that I want to work on from here forward. So you need to sort of make a list of things that make you happy. Sort of like write up what your passion is. Like describe it to yourself, okay? Make a couple of paragraphs, write 10 pages for all I care. But do something to establish it and then look in that and say, what is this thing? What am I packaging up to market here? And once you have that, now you have something to market. Because that's something that you can take and you can go out and exchange with your community. And you can give to them. Okay, so that's what I want you to take a look at. So write that up and see what you can get from that and see what happens. And you know what? I would love your feedback. I would love you to send me some of these things. I, free of charge, will look those over. Okay, any single one of you in my listening audience, let me just make this guarantee to you right now. I'm just going to announce it publicly here. If you want help reigniting your passion and figuring out what your passion is, you get in touch with me. Email me, frank.screenings@live.com. Write me something, write me a note, write me a long note, write me a short note, tell me you want to talk on the phone with me, and I will spend some time with you and I will help you figure this out. Okay, that's my commitment to you. You heard it here first, okay? So before you can market something, there has to be something to market. Now, why can two people sell the same thing and get two different results with the same people? Okay, you take two identical sales situations, put them with the same leads in the same situation. Okay, let's say in two parallel universes, and they get two completely different results. What you're missing is passion on the failure one. Okay, now listen, let me not lose you here because I want to sort of explain this to you in a way you can understand because plenty of you had plenty of passion at some point and still failed at sales. And I know that's what you're thinking right now, so I just want to address that. When I say passion's missing, I just mean when the passion's there, you're open to be able to use proper techniques, and you're going to be more likely to find better ways of doing it because you're not going to be giving up. Okay, you're going to persist beyond any reasonable, persistence, time period. Okay, one of the things I tell my clients in my coaching, especially the CAs, because they tend to have the least patience out of everybody, is I tell the CAs, look, the persistence that it takes to do this job is persistence far beyond what you've even dreamed of. It takes in persistence. So if you're thinking a really super long time it takes to persist, go far beyond that, and that's the degree that it takes. Okay? And you have to be able to get past the point. I'm going to give you a little secret we give in our coaching here. You have to get past that point. You have to persist past the point where it starts to seem like it's not working and you're just about ready to give up. That's when you have to turn on the persistence even harder. Because I can promise you guys, that's the persistence it takes to do this. And if you don't have passion, it's not going to carry you beyond that. Now, getting back to the salespeople, the persistence you have is that every sale you go out and do and every failure you have should be motivating you to find out more things you can do. And if you're backing away from it, there's something wrong with passion. Okay? And that's what I want to talk to you about there. Now, the value of public relations. Now, here's what I want to talk to you about as far as your passion is concerned, okay? And I don't want you to think of this as a public relations type of thing, okay? What I want you to think of is this as a purpose or passion-building activity that happens to result in some public relations for your office. Because we can talk PR until we're blue in the face. Okay, I have my wife is working with a very large multidisciplinary team, practice, and they actually have a marketing call center. They have close to 100 staff, I believe. She's doing a lot of their social media, and she's helping really get their call center in. But what they did is they did a recent PR campaign where they just went out into the Home Depot and they bought some potted flowers. It's springtime, and Earth Day was coming, and they went up to the sign at the entrance to the city that said welcome, and they planted some flowers, took some pictures, and the newspaper ran an article on them. Now, that's great PR, okay? But the thing is that's not really what true PR is, and I'm not belittling what they did, mind you. This group has plenty of purpose, and I just want to sort of give you an example of that's sort of what drove this and why it's very valid PR. And why this practice is one of the most respected in the area, and they become a household name. But the thing is that you have to go out and reach beyond your own personal comfort zone and barriers. Now, when I say comfort zone, I don't mean go into things that you're fearful of. I'm just talking about things that you're like, well, what am I going to get out of this? What am I going to get? What can I get, right? It's what can I give my community? Now, look, I don't want to get into a whole discussion about this and talk about like morals and gives and what goes around comes around. We can throw cliches around until we're blue in the face. What I want to tell you is if you start reaching out and you start helping people, okay? I don't care if you go out and do a little pro bono work, okay? I have lots of ideas I can give you if you want to write me. I can give you plenty of ideas of things you can do to give of yourself that I promise you will result in attention from you. Actually, would you like to hear one of my ideas right here on the air? Let me give you one. Okay? This is something we're developing right now. We want you to help musicians. Okay? Starving artists category. It's a horrible name given to artists because it gives the whole society the idea that you can't live off of your artistic creations. And that's total bunk, folks, just so you know. I've proven it because I use my artistic creations every day. Okay, and they generate plenty of commerce, okay? But starving musicians, all right? So musicians tend to have this reputation, but they also tend to not have health insurance and blah, 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 and be making peanuts for what they do. It's kind of a crime, but it's true, okay? What about a program where you go out and help musicians for free in exchange for them touting you and promoting you in their public performances? They're performing in public all the time. What would be wrong with that? Okay, we're working together with a music publishing company to implement this now. We have all kinds of programs coming out like this that are going to be like PR for your community. We live in an age of social media, folks. People are very social, and social media has nothing to do with promotion, believe it or not. Okay, it's all about friendships, relationships, and real public relations, meaning not phony stuff you do just to get attention and some, quote, free media time, but the stuff that really counts. And that's what we want you to sort of take away from this, okay? So good public relations, good works out there in the community, okay? And that's where it comes from. You go out there and you start reaching out and trying to help people, okay? Instead of going to your local gym up the street and trying to milk patients off them, why don't you go see what they need and go help them? And see if you don't get a patient or two out of it. But the key is, folks, and this is the last thing I'm going to talk about, is don't expect anything in return. And that's the only time that you will get something in return, if you don't expect it in return. You go and you give of yourself and it comes back. If you go and give of yourself going, well, this is my strategy to get something, then you totally missed the boat on this entire episode. Okay? And I don't know what to tell you. Go back and listen to episodes 1 through 11 and just try to use tactics. Okay, but you got to check your passion. So let's recap real quick. You got to have passion. Before you give a single adjustment, you have to have that passion there, because that passion is infused into everything you do, including your marketing, including your promotion, including those adjustments you're delivering. Okay? Is it real to you, docs? And I know this is, but is it real to you that that adjustment that you give when you have passion behind it and the one you give when you don't are two different results? Think about that for a moment, okay? And the essential elements that you need to have before embarking on the marketing campaign are that passion and purpose and all of these things. Why am I doing this? Ask yourself. And then write up what your passion is. Write down why you're doing it so you can figure that out. Before you can have something to market, you need something to market. Okay? There has to be something to market before you can market it. I know that sounds like ridiculous logic, but it's ridiculously true. So you really need to sit down and write up what your passion is. I don't care if it's 10 pages, just do it. Okay? And 2 salesmen. Just always remember the 2 salesmen. The guy who sold the same people as the other guy, but got better results, and the other guy failed miserably. Why does that happen? It's the passion, and it's that persistence that comes as a result of passion. Folks, you will not be able to persist nearly as long as it takes without heeding what we're talking about here. And that I promise you, okay? And then the value of public relations. All I'm going to tell you to do is go out there and do. And don't expect anything in return. Still run your practice. I'm not telling you to open up a free clinic, guys. But still run your practice, still do everything that we talk about, do all your day-to-day stuff, but really get that passion fired up and put it in other people. Put it into your patients, put it into your staff. Just pump it up before you get started, and then just make sure that it's pumped up all day. And then go out there and offer help to your community, to any group, to any person, whatever. And don't worry about the publicity and the PR and all that stuff. It will come back to you. You will find that if you start doing for others, not all of them, but a percentage of them will come back and do something for you as well, okay? And that's going to take a little time to build, but just go have fun doing it. Why are you sitting there worrying? Okay, and that's really the recap of the episode. So let's get into the last word. Who gets the last word? I do. After all, it's my show. What should we take away from today's podcast? If anything, I sincerely hope that you take to heart one thing, and that's passion. Following your passion is the most motivating thing in the world. And I'm just here to tell you guys, you're going to fall flat on your face if you do anything else but that. Trust me, I know. I'm so sincere about this that I would even say for you to quit the profession of chiropractic if you find that you're much more passionate about something else, okay? And I really mean that sincerely. You really need to sit down and figure it out and then follow the passion that you really have and exude it in everything you do, all right? I don't care what your passion is. I don't care if it's manufacturing bicycles. You need to figure out how that integrates with chiropractic, and are you really on purpose as a chiropractor? And I know most of you, if not all of you, are, okay? And that's the final word. Hey, wouldn't it be amazing if we could look back on this moment and say this is where it all changed? And will today's episode, or last week's episode, or the episode before that, will these episodes be the moment where that happened? The turning point of the game, as I like to call it? One new patient a day, hiring CMAs, new patient hotspots, doubling your screening results, okay? Compliance with Kathy Mills-Chang, Dr. Dan Margolin, right? The marketing defeat, the view from a podiatrist. There's all these things that we talked about, even ambulance chasing, right? We've covered it all. Will any of these be the moment where everything changed for you? I would love to have that moment with you. So please give me that, all right? Because we want to keep you growing, and we're going to keep growing this collection of efforts to help you, okay? Now, the next episode, I have got a blockbuster lineup. I'm down here in Florida, and we've actually have some contacts down here. I've had a meeting with at least 2 or 3 people so far. We've got some blockbuster subjects. I'm not going to give away who the guests are, but one of them is going to be, I have an absolute sales guru, an author of a sales book coming up that you're absolutely going to want to hear about, and this is going to help you internally in your practice. We have a guy who is, I don't even know how to describe him. This guy is the king of inner body health, organic, all these things, GMOs, all that stuff. This guy is the smartest engineer I've ever seen. And I've actually had a chance to visit his place where he actually grows natural things. And I just, there's too much to go on. We can have a whole other episode in me just telling you about this guy. So he's coming, and then we're going to get a little bit into internet marketing. How'd you like that? I think you guys would like it. Just by survey, I know you guys are having some problems with SEO and whatever. This guy is an SEO king. He's also sort of a little bit of a celebrity in the music industry and so on. And we're going to have him on the show as well. So I don't have exactly worked out the order in which will be the next episode, but those are the upcoming 3 that I'm going to meet with down here. So you will enjoy it. I will work for patients. Incidentally, so will all my guests, and so will everybody who supports the show. So will you? Come on, guys. Let's do this, all right? Okay. So the free resources we have, just a quick plug, the YouTube site. Go to the bottom of screeningexperts.com and look for free resources. You can find our YouTube site. You can use our free videos. Go to chiropracticmarketingadvice.com for some very informative blog articles. There's also at the bottom of screeningexperts.com, you will see all the listing for blogs and some notable blog articles. There's all kinds of resources there for you, so please do visit that. And please do visit willworkforpatients.com. Download, subscribe, listen, and please refer. Okay, use BeyondPod on Android. That's the one I'm endorsing because I use it myself. Also on the Apple products, the podcast app is fantastic. Again, you can get the RSS feed right off our website, and you'll always find our recent episode there. And of course, just a reminder, also all the episodes are now automatically uploading to YouTube as well, and you can subscribe to our YouTube channel I believe right from the website. Remember, this is a grassroots effort to make a chiropractic world like we all want. So let's make every episode count, huh? I know I can count on you for that. So, my friends, we've come to the end of a riveting episode of the show. Thanks so much for tuning in. On behalf of myself, our announcer Michelle, and the rest of the Screening Experts crew, I thank you very, very much for being here. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon for yet another memorable episode of Will Work for Patients. So long.
Be sure to subscribe and share. Will Work for Patients has been brought to you courtesy of Screening Experts, bringing unscripted simplicity to chiropractic marketing complexity. Today's episode, copyright Screening Experts LLC, musical score composed and arranged by Frank Sardella ASCAP. For more information, visit screeningexperts.com.